Title: My husband called me while I was visiting a client in another state. I'm divorcing you, and I've already sold our apartment to start my life with my new girlfriend. Enjoy looking for a new place. He laughed. I kept my tone neutral, replying, "Sounds good." After I got home, his smile quickly disappeared when "You thought you could lock me out? I built the house." The call came as I was finishing a late meeting in Dallas. I had flown in 2 days earlier to close a deal, an account I'd worked my ass off for over 8 months to secure. My phone buzzed. My husband's name lit up the screen. I almost didn't answer. Part of me already knew something was off. The distance between us wasn't measured in miles anymore. Still, habit made me swipe right. "Hey," I said, forcing a little warmth into my voice. He didn't even bother with pleasantries. "Just wanted to let you know," he said, voice dripping with smug satisfaction. "I'm divorcing you. Already signed the paperwork." Silence. I sat down slowly in the lobby chair. "Also," he added with a chuckle, "I sold the apartment. Closed the deal yesterday. Got a great price. So, enjoy looking for a new place when you get back." I closed my eyes for half a second. Let the knife sink all the way in. 15 years together. And this was how he ended it. With a casual, mocking laugh over the phone. No face-to-face. No dignity. No hesitation. He wanted me humiliated. He thought he caught me powerless, stranded, homeless. I smiled softly, a smile he couldn't see. "Sounds good," I said, my voice smooth even. He paused, probably expecting screaming, crying, begging. When none came, he hung up. On the flight back, I watched the clouds roll beneath the wings and thought about everything he had forgotten. Like the fact that I handled all the real paperwork. Like the fact that nothing could be legally sold without my signature. Like the fact that if he tried to forge anything, he just stepped into a whole different battlefield. One I had already mapped out. Step 1. Stay silent. Stay deadly. When I landed, I didn't rush. I didn't call. I didn't text. I took a cab straight to the address I knew by heart. Our apartment. My home. I walked up the steps, entered the building, and smiled when I saw the locks hadn't changed. He hadn't even thought that far ahead. Inside, the place was untouched, clean, still filled with my things, still legally mine, because he hadn't sold anything. Not legally. You tried to sell a home you didn't own. Now watch me sell you out. I moved through the apartment slowly, touching things he thought he had taken from me. The books I loved, the photos carefully framed on the walls, the furniture I picked out while he grunted from the couch, pretending he cared. All still here, untouched, because he had no legal right to sell any of it. The apartment was purchased 2 years ago, and despite his big man attitude, he couldn't get a loan approved on his own. His credit was garbage from his business ventures, most of which crashed before they even launched. The mortgage, in my name, my income, my paperwork, the deed, sole ownership, Kira Madison. He was a cohabitant, nothing more. Meaning when he signed those sale papers, they were fraudulent documents. Meaning he didn't just screw himself. He committed mortgage fraud, real estate fraud, wire fraud, all felonies, federal crimes, and every one of them punishable by prison time. Step 2. Set the trap. I called my real estate attorney the next morning, explained everything, calmly and clearly. He laughed, actually laughed, when I told him about the forged sale. "You're sitting on a gold mine," he said. "We can have this reversed in days, and if you want, we can press charges that'll keep him busy with lawyers for the next decade." I told him I wanted everything by the book, because this wasn't about screaming matches. It was about annihilation. We filed immediately, notice to the fake buyer that the transaction was fraudulent and null, emergency court motion to place a legal freeze on the property, preliminary filings for a criminal investigation. Step 3. Let him feel the panic. That evening, I packed a few essentials and checked into a nice hotel, paid for by points I'd quietly accumulated under my own name. Let the apartment sit untouched. Let him stew in the silence. Sure enough, 2 days later, my phone buzzed. Blocked number. I answered. His voice was panicked, fast, trying to sound tough but cracking under pressure. "You have to stop this. They're saying the sale's canceled. They're freezing the money. You're gonna ruin me." I smiled as I leaned back in the hotel chair. "Sounds good," I said, and hung up, just like he hung up on me. Poetic, isn't it? You wanted freedom? Enjoy your new chains. The fallout hit him faster than even I expected. The buyer he tried to sell the apartment to, a sleazy property flipper, was furious. Not just furious, dangerous. Apparently, my husband's sale wasn't just a casual scam. He had already taken an advance, a hefty, non-refundable deposit wired into his account. Money that was now frozen by the courts. Money he couldn't touch. Money he technically owed back. And when greasy sharks don't get their money, they don't sue politely. They hunt. Step 4. Choke him with his own greed. 3 days after the freeze was confirmed, my attorney filed a criminal complaint. Wire fraud, forgery, fraudulent misrepresentation of ownership, attempted unlawful enrichment. Each charge stacked neatly atop the last. A legal wall closing in with no gaps wide enough for him to crawl through. I didn't even have to say a word. The state picked up the case. Fraud involving real estate and interstate communications. That's federal jurisdiction. He was staring down federal prison time, not some slap on the wrist local nonsense. Step 5. Ruin his new life. His new girlfriend. The one he sold everything for. The one who was supposedly his fresh start. Gone. Disappeared the second she realized the condo in Miami wasn't happening. The second, the frozen bank account meant no shopping sprees, no fancy dinners, no private flights. She posted a selfie 2 days later with some other guy, captioned, "Upgrade." Cold, but fitting. He was alone now, facing mounting legal bills, facing threats from the pissed-off fake buyer, facing criminal charges he couldn't afford to fight, facing exactly what he deserved. And me. I was untouchable. Mortgage intact, credit untouched, name cleared. The court order ensured that no fake transaction he pulled could touch my ownership. The apartment, still mine, fully, permanently. Step 6, 0 contact. He tried again, called from a different number. This time, he was crying, begging. "Kira, please. If you drop the charges, we can work something out. You don't have to ruin my life. Please. I didn't mean for it to get this bad." I listened in silence, then hung up without a word. Because forgiveness? Forgiveness is for mistakes. What he did was a choice. And choices have consequences. I didn't just survive. I became the storm they feared. Weeks passed. Court dates were set. Summons delivered. Subpoenas filed. My soon-to-be ex-husband's world shrank by the hour. Gone were the beachside Instagram fantasies. Gone were the nights of laughing at my expense. Gone was the smugness. Every time he tried to stand, the weight of the law crushed him back to the ground. Step 7. Watch from the throne. I didn't need to attend the hearings personally. My lawyer was more than enough. But I showed up anyway. Sat quietly in the back row as he shuffled into court in a cheap, ill-fitting suit. His eyes darted around the room, hollow, bloodshot, looking for allies, finding none. He pled not guilty, of course. It didn't matter. The evidence was airtight. Forged signatures, faked notarizations, bank transfers tracked across state lines. There were no deals, no settlements. The prosecution wanted blood, and he had no bargaining chips left. Step 8. True freedom. When the final judgment came down, it felt almost anticlimactic. He was convicted on multiple felony counts, facing years of probation, massive fines, a criminal record that would follow him forever, making sure he never signed a legitimate contract again without someone double-checking his name against a blacklist. Meanwhile, my divorce was finalized. I kept the apartment, the furniture, the savings I protected from his sticky fingers. He was ordered to pay my legal fees, but I didn't expect to see a dime. And honestly, I didn't care. Because the real win wasn't money. It was peace. It was freedom. It was walking into my apartment, looking out over the city lights, and knowing that no one could ever steal my foundation again. He tried to bury me, but I was never soil. I was fire. Step 9. Let him drown in regret. He tried reaching out one last time. A letter. Messy handwriting, full of apologies, excuses, and pitiful self-pity. I didn't even read past the first line. I tore it in half, dropped it into the trash, and poured myself a glass of wine. Celebrated the life he tried to wreck. Celebrated the version of me he accidentally unleashed. Because when you survive betrayal, you don't just rebuild. You rebuild bigger, stronger, untouchable. And the ones who tried to destroy you, they become footnotes, forgotten, faded, exactly where they belong. You are not alone, and you are so much stronger than you think. Tap that subscribe button to join Twisted Justice, where we share tales that heal, inspire, and remind you that even the deepest heartbreak can lead to the most beautiful new beginning. Share this with someone who needs a reminder that revenge isn't always about getting even. Sometimes it's just about getting better.